So I've been making hockey videos on YouTube for quite some time. I talk about hockey on a regular basis. Every single day I eat, sleep, and breathe it. One of the things I almost never talk about on this channel is food, nutrition, the things that I eat on a daily basis, how I make them, why I'm putting them in my body. What I put into this temple is what fuels everything I do on the ice. Today's video is what a European pro eats, what I'm truly eating every single day for the next 7 days. And that starts right now. So I played professional hockey in Sweden last season, and I'm returning to Europe again for this upcoming season. For a little bit of context, I'm 6'5" tall, so I'm a pretty tall guy, and as of a few days ago, I weighed myself and I was 123 pounds, so we'll pretend absolutely nothing's changed. I'm also 24 years old, turned 25 next month, 96 born, and currently I'm in the beginning of my off-season training, and every day I'm aiming to hit around 3,000 to 3,100 calories a day, 200 plus grams of protein. Here's my first hot take of the day. Carbs don't matter. It's all situational to what I'm doing that day. If I'm doing more, if I'm skating, I'm working out, I'm gonna have more carbs. If I'm doing less, if I'm doing nothing all day, I don't work out, I don't skate, I'm gonna have a lot less of them. Now, I'm not a nutritional specialist, but I have found in my experience, if your calories and protein are at the right levels, you get the results that you want. Carbs almost do not matter. This is what I currently look like at 223 pounds.
222 pounds. Sex machine. Bag of milk.
Last summer, when I was weighing in at 208, 27 to 2,900 calories a day. The last month and a half, 2 months almost, I've been doing 3,100 calories a day. Now, if you take off 300 calories a day for 2,800 a day for 3 months straight, that's what I look like at the end of last off season, beginning of this past season. That's the difference right here that 300 calories a day can make. So with that being said, let's talk about everything that I put in my body from sunrise to sunset. Everything's been chaptered, so at the bottom of the scrolling tab in the video, you can scroll to different parts in the video if you desire that, and also all the recipes, instructions, and products that I'm using in this video are gonna be in the video description below, all the details, all that stuff. So I wake up early almost every morning. I'm rehabbing a knee injury right now, and the first thing I put in my body every morning are usually these cold blood pills and the sand sheet pills. They're both loaded with herbs that promote healing. I take 5 of each 3 times a day, so 15 a day each with a little bit of water. Normally I wouldn't do this, but this is what my Chinese acupuncture doctor recommended to help me recover this injury. Next up is my greens. After you sleep 8+ hours, your body's low on nutrients because they've been using all your nutrients while you've been asleep. That's why you're recovering. But as soon as I wake up, I try to put the greens in first thing. That way I'm replenishing my body with some new nutrients just to start the day off first thing. If I wasn't injured, this would be the first thing I put in my body. Greens are not a vegetable substitute. I mean, I guess they could be, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. They're just to supplement any deficiencies that I may have from eating in my diet. It's almost like an insurance plan or an insurance policy. I know a lot of greens taste like sewer water, and those are the ones that you probably tried. I've tried a few brands, but I've been hooked on Beyond Yourself citrus green tea greens for over a year now. They taste just like iced tea, but they're 0 calories. It's a win-win. Plus, they're also made in Canada by a Canadian company in Montreal. And for all those reasons, I love supporting Beyond Yourself. Next up, coffee, more coffee. I love a hot Cuppa Joe to fire up the day, just like most of us do, but I do things a little bit differently. Sweden changed my perspective on coffee this year from grinding fresh beans on a daily basis to eliminating dairy because it's so damn expensive, and also sugar alternatives to do the body some good. I use Rampage coffee beans. Oh, great bean roastery in Saskatoon. One of the 2 good things about Saskatchewan. Rampage Coffee and the upcoming Tesla dealership. I like to support local, or at least local-er. So 22 grams of beans, 400 grams of water, 22 grams of Manitoba creamed honey, and about 20 grams of oat milk. Now, if you're North America, you may shake your head at the oat milk thing. Now, this choice isn't because I'm lactose, I'm not a vegan, and nor did the world's most famous vegan, Casimir Kaskasuo, influence this decision. It's just expensive, I feel more energized with oat milk, and it's how the Swedes do it. Have you ever looked at how good-looking Swedish people are? That alone is good enough for me. The smell of the beans, it's like seeing a girl naked. Whether it's the first time or the 14,000th time, it's just as magical every single time. It's a terrible analogy. All right, so it's breakfast time. Now, I actually went to culinary school about 7 years ago. I worked on my apprenticeship as a cook for 3 years, as a baker for a full year, and I spent half that time as a breakfast cook. So safe to say breakfast is that one meal where I put the most effort in because I'm the most passionate about it and I love it. Breakfast is my absolute favorite. So breakfast today, scrambled eggs, hash browns, protein pancakes with a bowl of protein cereal. I know, Trav, you want a little more protein with your protein? Well, here's the deal. So I do 2 kinds of hash browns, both normal hash browns that you'd see in a restaurant, the shredded, we don't do cubed around here, and also a lower calorie alternative, beet and carrot hash browns. Seems weird, but trust me, they're awesome. I basically roast off the veggies until they're about 3/4 of the way cooked through because when they cool, I want them firm enough so they don't fall apart, but also cooked through enough where I can shred them. Spoiler alert, I did leave these in the oven just a touch too long, at least the potatoes, but I'll roast everything at 425, carrots and potatoes for about 30 to 45 minutes, beets for about 45 to 60 minutes. Take them out, cool them down, shred them with a cheese grater, then toss them salt, pepper, and a little bit of butter, and then roast them a second time at 425 to dry out some of the moisture and begin the crisping process. It takes about 30 to 60 minutes to do in the oven at that temperature. After that, I'll put them into 200 gram portioning containers and refrigerate. When you're ready to cook them, preheat your pan on medium heat, get that pan hot, add a little bit of butter, and let it go until crispy and then flipped. Be careful with these beet hash browns. They're naturally really dark, so visually there's a very fine line between burnt and crispy, just because that crispy color will also blend in with the darkness of the beets and the carrots. They have more moisture and less starch than regular potatoes, so patience here is key. They will take longer than a normal hash brown. Be patient. It's as simple as that. Normal hash browns and beet hash browns. This morning I had my woman over for breakfast, so she loves onions, so I put a little bit of caramelized onions in her hash browns, but it's literally that simple. Now, protein pancake recipe, it's as simple as normal pancakes. Combine your dry ingredients together, combine your wet ingredients, and then put the wet into the dry, whisk it up until almost fully combined, and then add your melted butter, refrigerate. I'm using maple syrup pancake isolate protein powder from Beyond Yourself. You can use whatever protein you want, but please do be advised, vegan protein powder will change how the pancakes turn out. Different brands of protein powder will also change how things turn out. You can use whatever brand or whatever product you want, but if you're not using Beyond Yourself protein isolate, don't send me a message asking why your pancakes suck. That's why. Every protein powder brand and style in the market will change how the pancakes turn out. I'm using the maple pancake flavored protein. Vanilla works great as well, but both of them are isolates from Beyond Yourself. All the details are in the video description. Now, preheat your pan on medium to medium low heat. Protein pancakes are really finicky because protein is a thickener. It naturally absorbs liquid as it cooks, and which, by the way, is actually a hack. Beyond Yourself protein can help thicken up a sauce. I recommend you cook these until almost fully cooked, because when you take them out of the pan, they're going to continue to cook through, and that'll finish the rest of the way through. With protein pancakes, again, there's a very fine line between draw sawdust and pancake custard. In between is the world's greatest protein pancake, but I promise you, be aware, once you master it, I promise you these will be the best pancakes on the planet. Again, slightly underdone. They'll finish cooking after you take them out of the pan. You'll be good to go. If you make this recipe exactly how I lay out in the video description, portion it into 340 gram containers of batter, then add your butter, melt that until the foam disappears. Then I like to add a touch of cardamom because it tastes just like cannelle brulee or a cardamom brulee in Sweden, which is basically the Swedish cinnamon bun. Put a touch of that on the one side, about 2 minutes or so. Go until you got a little bit of sexy color. Yes, there's a term you're not going to hear in Food Network because this it's not PG. You're making sweet love to this meal. This ain't a one-night stand. It ain't a greasy hookup. You ain't here to just You want to make sweet, tender, passionate love. Add about 60 milliliters of 100% maple syrup, the real Canadian stuff, the pure stuff. I'm telling you, if you use that Aunt Jemima corn syrup garbage, you've already failed not just life, but you failed this recipe. That's one of the worst things you can put in your body. And trust me, pure maple is where it's at. It's 800 calories all in with the maple syrup on these pancakes. 700 if you don't want 60 milliliters of maple syrup. Protein pancakes, hash browns, scrambled eggs. I got a little bit of, I guess it's ketchup. It's just barbecue sauce. I throw a little bit of vinegar, sugar, and liquid smoke and some spices in there. And I basically put that on my eggs. And then the pancakes, they're awesome enough as is. You really don't need anything else just because there's already about 60 milligrams of maple syrup on there. But I have this like sugar-free jam where I mix it with a little bit of regular jam just so it's not tasting like straight cancer from the aspartame. And then you get a nice little jam sauce. I water it down. So it's almost like literally like a jam sauce puree. You can put it over top of the pancakes if this isn't your style. So these scrambled eggs, it's about 80 calories per egg. So this all together here is about 240 calories because I'm having 3 eggs, just 3 large eggs. And then here's 200 grams of the hash browns. So 200 grams of the potato onion mixture is gonna be about 250 calories as well. You put it all together, 500 calories here, factor in the ketchup barbecue sauce, 550. I don't eat when I start the morning. Like first thing I do, I'll have my drinks, I'll have my coffee, my greens, my water. I'll starve myself for a little bit just so my body doesn't get into the habit of wanting food all day. Because I find when you eat early, when you eat at 7, 8, 9 in the morning, your body's just like, I want food, and it makes you hungry throughout the day. When you wait till like 10:30, 11 or 12, your body ends up kind of accepting the fact that you're not gonna be eating all day, which makes cravings really easy. That's how I eat breakfast. Another alternative to pancakes is protein French toast, but not just any French toast. Croissant protein French toast. My apartment complex has a free continental breakfast buffet every single day. They have these croissants, they're 210 calories per croissant, and that's what this idea was actually spawned from. Just blend 300 grams of egg whites, 200 grams of oat milk, splash of vanilla, 5 scoops of maple pancake protein powder from Beyond Yourself. Then I'll let the croissants dry out for a few days at room temperature. If I'm in a little bit of a time crunch, I'll throw them in the oven 10 to 15 minutes at 300 degrees, dry them out a bit, split them in half, and then follow the recipe as laid out in the video description. So 2 full croissants, split in half, 1/3 of all that batter you just made. Let it sit in the fridge overnight so the croissants absorb the moisture. Then you're gonna wanna preheat your pan on medium heat, melt your butter, but there's a trick to getting protein French toast just right. When you're cooking it, one of the biggest things to keep an eye out for is that this shit will burn. Okay, so this is probably about as much color as you want. There's a very fine line between overcooked and raw, right? So like this looks decent, but flip it over, that's literally done. That's good to go. But you look on the inside there, and a little bit raw on the inside, just a touch. So keep an eye out when you're doing the croissant protein French toast. Make sure it's not raw on the inside, make sure you're not burning it, making sure you get a little bit of color on the outside. Cooked most of the way through, a little bit of a custardy kind of vibe to it. Everybody's having a good time. And everybody's kind of cooked off nicely. It's not raw. I may have f***ed up a little bit there, but that's okay. Protein croissant French toast, 700 calories, just like the pancakes were. Toss on 60 milliliters of 100% maple syrup, or throw on 50 milliliters of the sugar-free jam sauce for a total of 750 calories. 700 calories plus your condiments. Full recipe and details are in the video description below. Okay, and I know someone's gonna leave a comment. Trav, why are you having the sugar-free jam, the diet soda, all that stuff? Hold on, Enrique. I would rather die of cancer having the sugar-free stuff, looking decent, in shape, still playing the game I love, than die fat eating white sugar or any of the other sugary stuff, the high-calorie stuff. I promise you, you make a couple adjustments like this, the diet Pepsis, the diet colas, the sugar-free stuff like this, it's worth the investment, it's worth the change, and I promise you, you'll see some results. Again, I'm not a physician, I'm not a food specialist, I'm just some guy who loves food. Please don't come at me in the comment section. I know somebody will, but. So that right there is basically breakfast. I also have a bowl of Magic Spoon cereal. This is the protein, the keto-friendly cereal. This stuff is seriously awesome. It's low calorie. I'm currently hooked on the fruity and the birthday cake flavors of it. It's sugar-free, low carbs. 56 grams of the cereal with 130 milliliters of oat milk is what I have every time. That's just under 300 calories. It's seriously one of the best ways to start your morning. Like everything else in the video, there's a promo code TRAVSUCKS to save $5 off on your first order. One of the nice things about it is the foods that I'm showing you, the foods that I'm eating, they fill you up. So you're not hungry, you're not like, oh, I kind of, getting the munchies. You're full, you're good for a bit. This is Magic Spoon cereal. I usually pound back 1 or 2 bowls of these a day. This is the fruity flavor. It's just like Fruit Loops. Literally better than Fruit Loops. They got this fruity flavor like Fruit Loops. They got birthday cake, they got peanut butter. They're not paying to sponsor this video. It's just, I believe in this stuff so much. And although I've done sponsored videos in the past, promo code TRAVSUCKS will save you $5 on your order or your box. And I'm gonna pound back a bowl right now. So 130 calories in the coffee, 250 calories in the eggs, 200 in the hash browns, 800 in the pancakes, or 800 in the French toast, assuming you're putting the maple syrup on. A 300 calorie bowl of cereal for breakfast. I don't eat all this in one sitting, mostly because I don't have enough pans to cook everything or have enough dishes to eat it all in one go. But yes, 1,680 calories, 170 grams of carbs, over 120 grams of protein, all for breakfast. To provide a little bit more context into why I'm eating this much and what I'm putting in my body, I'm gonna let my trainer explain this to you. This isn't Steve Irwin, this is actually the guy that does train me. Comes out with the workout programs and the diet and nutrition.
We're talking about Trav's nutrition right now. Because we're not training as heavy due to the lockdown, Trav's not lifting heavy weights. We don't need to necessarily have a whole lot of calories in the body. So we're reducing his calories from about 3,100 to in that 2,900 range. That way he's not overeating. He's still gonna be training very hard, so he still needs to keep on the higher end. Some of the numbers he's looking at, he's gonna be looking at like a 40% protein intake, probably another 30-40% in terms of fat. So you got a pie chart of 100% of your calories. In that pie chart, you're gonna have 40% protein, 40% fat, about 20% carbs for Trav right now. Just because we don't want him to get too big. We still want the carbs for energy, but it's more important that he's gonna have the protein for the muscle building. Make sure he stays on top of taking care of his body.
Thank you, Steve Irwin. Looking forward to having you back to the program again soon. Next is late lunch or early dinner, depending on how you see it, but it may not be as exciting as breakfast, but tuna salad sandwich, super high protein, cheap meat, also with a watermelon, blueberry, and feta salad. So these are gonna be the 2 simplest recipes of the day. The tuna salad sandwich, literally whack up some celery, green onions, as much or as little as you want. There's almost no calories in vegetables, so they're always great to add in as a little filler. A little bit of grainy mustard, Dijon mustard, touch of Manitoba creamed honey again, a little bit of vinegar, touch of mayo, salt, pepper to taste. Mix up your dressing, add your veggies, add your tuna, let it sit in the fridge, throw on a couple slabs of bread. Believe it or not, white bread is actually the lowest calorie of the breads, but whole wheat was on sale, so this is what I went with this week. And throw it all together, put it in a pan, toast it up with a load of butter, and you're good to go. Tuna salad sandwich, toasted, just like your grandma probably eats, but it tastes a whole lot better than your grandma's tuna salad. That's what she said. And to accompany that is going to be the blueberry watermelon feta salad. Now, this is going to be primarily done with a lot of really great Manitoba produce. One of the big things I try to pride myself on, like I mentioned, is keeping it local. And there's a little veggie center not too far away from where I live, and I go there all the time, pick up some great veggies, great locally done stuff. It's actually pretty cheap, and you get access to some of the best vegetables and fruits and products that you possibly can. Take a look at this. Great local produce. Huge watermelon. I chopped the whole thing up, a couple small cubes, put it in the fridge, set it aside. Blueberry dressing's a little bit different. It's just a bunch of frozen blueberries. They were fresh, but I ended up not using them, so I put them in the freezer. So I took them out, put them in the pan, a little bit of sugar, stewed them down until they're almost like a syrup, blended that up with a little bit of rice vinegar, my personal favorite vinegar of choice, and canola oil. This blueberry dressing is actually probably my favorite salad dressing ever. I picked it up from a chef that I worked for at a fine dining restaurant, and I'm gonna be honest, I may have stole the recipe from his secret recipe book that he never let anybody touch, but he gave it to me one day to look at, and I copied the recipe. About 500 grams of watermelon, I believe 100 grams of feta cheese, tossed together with about 50 milliliters of the dressing. This is a lot of dressing, by the way. This will make you a lot of salads for the next little bit. Toss it together, and boom, watermelon and feta salad with an awesome blueberry vinaigrette and crispy tuna salad sandwich. Doesn't get much better for lunch than that. And it's a nice light lunch too. I like to leave that last meal of the day open to, I guess, interpretation, shall we say. So maybe I want some extra hash browns because they're really good at breakfast. I'll have a couple extra hash browns. Tonight I'm having a little bit of protein ice cream. I'm gonna be honest, my protein ice cream, it still needs a little bit of work. I'm trying to finesse the recipe to get super great macros, but at the same time taste amazing. Not quite there yet, but this is an Oreo Blizzard or an Oreo McFlurry attempt. It's good, not great, could use a little bit of improvement. And this is about 500 calories for a full thing with the Oreo crumbs. That right there concludes my entire full day of eating. I'll cap things off right before I go to bed by having some more greens to put some more nutrients in my body before I go to bed. And there you have it. Every food and liquid I put in my body for a 24-hour period, and this is repeated 7 days in a row over the course of the week. Like I mentioned, every week the menu changes. Full day of eating, 3,100 calories, and over 200 grams of protein, assuming I did my math correctly. As I mentioned before, all the products from Beyond Yourself, all the recipe instructions, the measurements, everything is gonna be linked in the video description, and also the promo code so you can save a couple bucks on both the greens, all that kind of stuff, and the Magic Spoon cereal. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Got some awesome videos coming up this season for an upcoming hockey season in Sweden. Europe. Not supposed to tell you that yet. I'll see you in the next Monday upload. Check out my new podcast, Sling the Biscuit, Hockey Lifestyle Podcast with my boy, Pat Shea. New videos are Monday. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Let's go for a smoke.